All right. So it looks like we are live, and we will give some folks opportunity to join us. Yes, we are live. All right. Okay. So we are live on the Facebook. Hello, everyone. Thanks for joining us. I have my new, I think I had this last month, my fancy background here. So thank you all for joining us. Sorry we had to start late. We had some technical difficulties with the lovely and always lovely Facebook. So, but we are set to go now. So thank you to everyone for joining us. I'm just going to start by introducing myself because we always get new people to kind of come and watch the lives as they're going on or in the future. So my name is Fawn Walker Montgomery, and I'm the CEO and co-founder for Take Action Advocacy Group, called that TAG for short. We are a Black liberation organization in the greater Pittsburgh area. We affectionately call this area the Mon Valley, but our work is centered everywhere, not just in the greater Pittsburgh area. We're also in Atlanta and Washington County as well. So we'll be wherever folk need us. But wherever we are a Black liberation organization. So that's a little bit about TAG and what we do, how we take action. We have a complaint program where people can call and get assistance with any social justice or racial injustice issues they're experiencing. We call, they call us, and then we go over like an advocacy plan for them. We'll connect with mental health resources, do legal assistance as well. We also have several different initiatives that we support, such as police violence, abolition, as well as environmental justice. And we also have a policing coalition that we call POC that we started, which is where we really do our work around policing or policing violence and stopping police violence. And then we also, like I said, I spoke about our environmental justice initiative that we're working on, and that's where our upcoming events come in. So we have several events coming up in the month of March, April, and May. Majority of them are going to be centered around environmental justice. And we are in, like I said, the greater Pittsburgh area that we call the Mon Valley. Now, this is one of the worst places in the country for air quality. A lot of that is due to the steel mill that we have here. A lot of them closed, but we still have steel mills here. We have them in the West Mifflin Pleasant Hills area as well as in Braddock. So it's not like it completely left. That has caused horrible air quality in Braddock and the whole county really, because Homewood has horrible air quality as well. Now these are all Black neighborhoods that I'm referring to, just for the people who don't live in this area. So these are all Black neighborhoods with this horrible air quality. The people in Braddock and Clare in the Mill is right there. So and this is a residential area. So you could imagine people breathing in those chemicals and Clare End, there's been a lot of people who've had cancer. There's an area they call like Cancer Row because people have died from cancer. So just sit with that for a minute. And this has been going on for this before I was even born. These things have been going on and they're constantly still going on. So it's always hard for me to grasp when people say, oh, this is one of the worst environmental justice tragedies. I'm like, I grew up in one. I live in one. Hell, I breathe it every day. So it's always like, well, damn, what about us, up here? So we've been beating that drum for several years, especially in regards to lead and clean air and clean water. So we are working with Women for a Healthy Environment presently to do a Get Out the Lead McKeesport campaign. And you can sign up for that on our website. And we're looking for McKeesport residents, community members to join that campaign to really help us develop some strategies to engage people around it, as well as some policy as well. We do have a way for organizations to get involved. We have community champions for orgs and community champions for residents. So there's several different ways people can get involved. We'll be releasing the community champion information in late March, early April. But for now, we're recruiting McKeesport community members to be a part of the Get Out the Lit campaign in McKeesport. We're having a landlord listening session on March 26th, and there we're getting landlords or property owners together at the library in McKeesport to really discuss the lit and how they can address it as landlords. Also give them resources as well. So we're doing that Win for Healthy Environment, March 26th at 2:30. We will put all of this in the chat and people can sign up to attend that event. We also have the environmental justice table that we are working with, that was convened by Upstream Pittsburgh, but there's several different organizations involved. TAG is involved, 412 Justice is involved, the Breathe Project is involved, so many other organizations. We're having a resource fair in Clareton on March 28th. That's from 6:30 to 8. So once again, we'll put that in the chat for people to come out to that as well. We're going to also be having some workshops and fellowships around environmental justice. One thing that we've seen with EJ, that's short for environmental justice, is that Black people or other marginalized groups, specifically Black folks, just have not been educated enough about environmental justice. People will come in our neighborhoods and want to plant a tree or some shit like that, but never really explaining why the tree is important, because we need trees to breathe clean air. But no one's really saying us. It's like, here, plant a tree or plant a garden or some shit like that. But we are looking for different things. And if you're going to say that, then at least explain to people the hell important is to have there. So we really want to do that kind of political education with our people. So those will be some of the fellowships and things that we'll have coming up for environmental justice. We also have a housing fair that we are supporting with the people over at Urban Kind and AmeriCorps. They're doing a training. I'm a part of that. I'm on the steering committee. It's an advocacy and organizer training course. And we took people through it through several months. And at the end, they're doing a project. So that is going to be March 23rd. And we're doing that in Homewood. We'll put the flyer and sign up in the chat. And there's just going to be a panel there about the issues people have with trying to secure housing. And we're also going to have resources there as well. And then also on March 23rd, we're really busy. We are having something in Washington County around structural and systemic racism. It's no secret that we've been working on a case up there with Walter Hoover, who was murdered by an officer in Washington County. And the coroner recommended that there be charges filed. So now we're just going back and forth with the powers that be on that. But we want to pull up to the community to ask people what they think, just overall, about what's going on in regards to, racism, structural and systemic racism specifically in Washington County. So that's also going to be on March 23rd from 4 to 6. And we'll put that in the chat as well. So those are upcoming events and upcoming things we'll be working on. We'll also be doing some voting things at the end of March and beginning of April as well. So just wanted to give you all an overview of what TAG is, what we do, how we take action, and some of the upcoming things that we are working on. I also just want to add in regards to what TAG does and how we take action. As I mentioned before, TAG is a Black liberation organization. We are centered and rooted in community. So I say this just for future partners who do want to work with us, that we are all for community. So I think a lot of times with community organizing, and I've seen this a lot in the environmental justice space, people just want to be attached to something without really understanding why we're doing it. A lot of times because people look at some of the work that nonprofits do as just a benchmark, to be honest. A grant, we have to do this to get the grant money next year. So let's just scratch this off, and scratch that off. And that's not how we look at it. We're not guinea pigs. We don't get excited about doing this shit. We have to do it. It's a necessity in order for us to live and breathe. Of course, we find joy in it, but I feel like there's some weird things that happen with some of these nonprofits where it's like, oh, they get like excited. We just want to be a part of it, but it's not really about you. It's about the people that we're serving. So we more want them to be a part of it than we want a specific organization to be a part of it, because we're really just looking to engage the community. So please keep that in mind before you would just think it's so weird. See the couch on the back sometimes, but um, before you reach out to tag to work with us, I already went over how we work with people. We do a complaint program. We have our initiatives. We have our chapters as well. People are always welcome to join. You can go through our website, email us, text us at 412-440-8268. You could do that as well to join. We also do trainings and we also do consulting. So if there's a nonprofit organization who wants a training or wants more information on how to engage Black and Brown people, people, the global majority in these communities, then reach out to us. We more than happy to help. That is a service that we charge for because we don't believe in picking our brains for free. Nor do we believe in free labor for Black people. So you can always reach out to us for that as well. So now I'm going to call on my guest, Amber Webb, so we can just have a discussion. Amber is one of our chapter members, one of our founding chapter members. So she has been with us from the beginning until now. Amber is also a newly elected McKeesport councilwoman. So welcome to Amber Webb. Yay.
Thank you so much, Fawn, for having me on your show. I appreciate the spotlights that you shed on some areas and on the people in our area. It is very much appreciated and needed.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. So I wanted Amber to come on here today. First of all, just so y'all could see how fabulous she is, and just to meet her as well. So this is Endometriosis Awareness Month, Women's History Month, Social Worker Month, and Black Feminism Month. Just all these months in March. So we wanted to, of course, highlight Black women in the month of March that have influenced us or touched us in any kind of way, especially if you're talking about history and the way that Black women have affected history. But of course, we're always left out or put to the back burner when it comes to these things. So we want to take the time to just highlight some Black women who have influenced us. So um, I'll start and then I'll go over to you, Amber.
Okay.
So I will just start with the people, women in my own life that have influenced me. My mother has been a huge influence. All of my aunts, every single last one of them. But my mother really taught me how to advocate. Uh, I feel like growing up with her was a master class in advocacy. She was really stressing me to be able to advocate for myself, to help other people when I had the capability to do it. So my mother is one of my biggest influences. Her name is Myrna Lloyd Gold. She's one of my biggest influences. My mother, all of my aunts. My aunt Valerie Harper has also been very instrumental in my life and just helping me, teaching me those things like resumes, cover letters, how to do interviews, things that I just, as a Black girl, wasn't really taught in school. So shout out to them for always influencing me. So I wanted to just start with some people in my own life, and there's, of course, I'm always influenced by people around me. But my mother, my aunts, those would be people who consistently, yeah, influence me in my own personal way. So now that
And of course, rightfully so, because to be a powerhouse in this society now, you have to have a strong foundation to be able to speak up to a lot of the stuff that goes on. And so I think that the people who directly influenced me first, obviously, would be my mother and my grandmother and my aunts and my mother's friends, all of her friends, and the things that she was into and the things that I was able to watch her be involved in and the interactions that they had with each other. I knew that there was work to be done. And so that kind of laid the foundation to want to be a voice and to be um, proactive and a part of the conversations that are happening that a lot of people shy away from sometimes. But it's important and it's necessary. And So that shaped me to be able to be who I am because they are so phenomenal. Your mother, being someone that I call aunt, also would be, and your aunt Val and your aunt Janet and so on
Mhm.
and so forth. But all those people influenced me as they influenced you because I grew up with you. And I think it spills out beyond that because now we are in an organization, we're in a group together called the Semper Fidelis Club here in McKeesport, and that was established in 1919. And
Mhm.
so they are a group of women, Black women, who give scholarships to the highest achieving uh, African American in
Student.
academics at the school. And so um, the work that had to be put into place to get that started and to keep that going. And the ladies that are in that group with us, even now, you being in it, me being in it, we've got um, Black nurses, we have superintendents, and just people who do even everyday work or things that you wouldn't think are inspiring to me because if you do what you do and you do it well, there's a need for it. And any position, we've had some of our past members were secretaries and they worked in the city council building, and we had
Teacher.
the first Black nurse at the high school in McKeesport, Miss Joanne Rogers. Some very commendable things that we stand on the shoulders of, and it's something that I don't want to disappoint because I know that they poured so much into me, and it's now my responsibility to give that back. Anything that you gain in excess in your life is your responsibility to give back to your community or to
Mhm.
wherever is in need of that.
Absolutely. Thank you for bringing up the Semper Fidelis Club and the ancestors when you brought up your grandma. The Semper Fidelis Club is a rich history club that we have in McKeesport. Me and Amber are a part of it, but like Amber said, the club has been around for centuries. And it's a group of Black women, and they give scholarships, and we do amazing work there. So thank you for bringing them up, as well as the ancestors. With your grandmother, my grandmother Grace Harriet was very influential. All of
Also, who inspired me.
oh, thank you, love, thank you. It's just it runs so deep when you're talking about the ancestors and Angela Davis is not an
I
ancestor.
was getting ready to say
Alive,
go. I mean, then when
not
you
an
go
ancestor.
outside of our realm of what we got so
Yes.
close to us, when you see the people that you see on TV or the people that you can only dream of accomplishing some of the things or standing up to some of the things that they stand up for or do, and it's inspiring to want to be a part of that because
Hmm.
you don't really think of yourself as making history or being a part of history
Yeah.
while it's happening, but we are one day somebody's history. Our children obviously were their legacy, and they'll talk
Mhm.
about the things that we did and how we inspired them. And hopefully, we continue to set a fire in the community where people want to step up to be this because
Yeah.
it's not anything that it's not. I mean, you can prepare for it, but it's something that you have to have a heart for it,
Mhm.
and you have to be able to have a good support system, people who support you and people who can pour into you and give you good advice, and people who will tell you when you're not doing, when you might be
Yeah.
flying off the deep end.
Yeah.
It's all necessary and it's all inspiring. It's all a part of being a part of women's history.
Yes, absolutely. And tag like we are women's history. This is our 10-year anniversary. We've been around since 2014. Who would have
which is
thought?
which is amazing because when you first started out with this, it now has taken on such a different perspective of what we thought it would in the beginning. And that just speaks to the need for it that, even the rebranding of the name from Take Action Mon Valley to Take Action Advocacy Group absolutely has enhanced the areas that you're able to reach out to that are calling for us, that need us to be able to advocate for them and to be there for them. And it's not always easy. So I
Go-
know for you, I want to commend you. And, endometriosis month, that's also something that you deal with. And, it's not always easy, but you're doing it, you're getting it done, and you are a Black woman in history.
Thank you, love. And so are you. So are all of us. Like when we started tag, it was in 2014, we were talking about street violence.
Right.
And that's where we were kind of centered in responding to
Right.
that and doing like trauma things. And we would just put our own money together and do things. And then years later, like after doing the work and doing research and research reports and policy reports, a couple of us ran for office. We won.
You ran for office. I want to spotlight that a little bit because I have never viewed myself to be a political person in any way. And the only reason that it was ever raised into my atmosphere at all was because you were a councilwoman for the city of McKeesport for 2 terms. And me coming to the meetings to support you or to just, see what you had going on. And then beyond that, after you sat on council, you said, you know what, I'm going to try out for state rep,
Mm.
mayor. And then it just made it more like there is no real definition of what these people look like. You can be a woman, a mother, you can be a single woman. You can be, I mean, you don't have to be rich. You don't have to be, middle class. You could be poor. I mean, if you are able and have the capacity to serve, you serve. And that is what I watched you do. And because of that, lighting the fire that I was speaking of, you kind of lit the fire in me. And I'm hoping that more people that see me in this light will be able to say, you know what? I just saw Amber at the soccer game. Like she's just a regular person. She was in the Giant Eagle counting her pennies just like me. Like, and
Mm.
it's just, regular stuff. I'm not trying to I don't have any agenda in it. I'm just trying to do my part in what I feel like is right. And this is just a different table that I'm sitting at now to discuss different issues.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And thank you for pointing that out, and thank you for letting me know that because I don't know if no one, tells me, and it's
Well, you
always
should
good to
know, because
hear.
I also think that Soleil Mead, who also is on tag with us, she ran for school board
School
and
board,
sat,
yep.
and that also was almost a direct reflection of your impact in the political arena that we saw and was like, you know what? Because we've been working behind the scenes for so long in so many different areas. I mean, it's not just the Semper Fidelis Club, but it was also Bethlehem Baptist Church. My
Hmm?
pastor, all of the associate ministers there, those who have passed on, Shirl Coleman, Elaine Richardson, there's just so many people who poured into us. But again, Elaine and my mind just drew a blank, but Miss M. Jean Dix
Yeah.
and her sister Carrie Ann Dix. These are women who we had the privilege and the honor of being able to be on the Semper Fidelis Club with them, which is, it seems like it's to someone who wouldn't know them, it doesn't seem like, oh, it's just a name. But if you knew the powerhouses that these women were, and even in just a simple conversation of sitting at the table, hearing how they're getting work done, how that can ignite a fire, and you just know, I got to be about my sister's business. I got work to
Hmm.
do. If I wake up in the morning, I got work to do. And if you want it done, ask a woman.
Ask a Black woman. Exactly. Thank you for pointing that out. Yeah, Central Dallas Club, they had the Greens, the Green family, talking about the first teachers, the first principals,
I
Miss
mean,
Laura
so
Green.
many different, and
Yeah,
there's other members that I can't, my mind
yeah, I
can't
can't
even.
think of
But we
everyone, but
lost
there,
some members. We lost a lot of good people who were pouring into us. But I'm just so thankful that we were able to sit at those tables with them, and we can just continue to carry out the work until we get it done. If we don't get it done on our watch, I feel good to know that somebody else is watching and they're going to pick it up.
exactly. And it's so important to highlight this. So with our beginnings, how we really made history, um, we feel like we definitely inspired this movement for social justice and Black liberation in the Mon Valley. We've been beating that drums for 10 years now. A lot of us ran for office and won. I was already in my position. Um, Amber ran for school board first. Now she's a councilwoman. Nicole Nesby from Duquesne, she ran
Also
for
another
mayor,
great
and
woman, and
great
I met
woman.
her and through a sports organization in Steel Valley. So I didn't even know that she was in the political arena
Yeah,
also, but it's important to spotlight that a lot of the times that we have so many more jobs than
yep,
just that. We're out here. I was giving her money for stuff for fundraising for the Still Valley whenever my oldest child, whenever she was doing cheer over there. So it's like we have our hand in so many different areas, just helping to keep the community moving. And
yes,
it comes second nature to us a lot of
yep,
times. We don't even think about it. It's just like, oh, okay, yeah, I'll
yep.
do it. I could do it.
Right. We just moving. So Nicole was the first Black mayor, man
And
or
I want to
woman of
spotlight her
Duquesne.
a little bit for you bringing her up
Yes,
because when I first met her, she introduced herself to me as I will be the first Black
yes.
mayor of Duquesne. And I thought that was just so awesome because literally years later, she was. And it's just amazing that you can speak that into the atmosphere. You can say it, and if you can say it, you can see it, you can do it. And she did it. And
She
she said
definitely.
it to me, and it was just real inspiring. Almost like you have a conversation with someone and you feel that spark that's like, wait a minute.
Hmm.
Yeah, she has it.
She definitely has an. And Fawn McDaniel as well.
Absolutely.
She
Her
was a
also.
member. She ran for council in Duquesne and she won. So we're going to
And
be really. Go
and
ahead.
Summer, now who's on Congress. I
Yep,
mean, Summer and Olivia Bennett. I mean, these are
yep,
people who I met through you canvassing
hmm,
for other things.
yep.
And now we
Mhm.
are sitting at the table making real changes. And I mean, you wouldn't have saw it then, but it definitely it sheds light on it. I mean, you should always surround yourself with good people
Hmm.
and people who can spill into you, you can spill into them. Iron sharpens iron. So if I
Yeah.
could sit at a table with a woman who is pretty sharp, then I know she's making me sharper than what I was before I sat down.
Hmm.
So,
And all
try to sit at those tables.
these women we talked about are Black women, and there's something about getting Black women together.
There
You
is a
want to.
certain black girl magic in it because we weren't always allotted the money,
Yep.
the spaces, the
Access.
the
Yeah.
access, or even the I can't even think of the word, the support.
Yeah.
We're not always supported in these places that we were trying to be in. And there is, when you get there, you sometimes do see that there is a glass ceiling, but there is no ceiling. And it's our job to continue to move like there is no ceiling for our
Hmm.
children's children.
Hmm. Exactly. And there's a lot of women over history that have influenced, especially Tag and our shaping of our political development and our rebranding. So I brought up Angela Davis, who I don't want to confuse. She's not an ancestor; she's an elder. Angela Davis is
This is
Dr. Angela
auntie.
Davis, the auntie. Um, the Corumbia River Collective is a big piece if you're going to talk about revolutionary movements and any movement history. So the Corumbia River Collective was a group of Black women. Some of them were lesbian, some of them were straight, and they got together in the 70s. They felt like they didn't have a space in this movement for Black liberation because at that time it was really centered in patriarchy of Black men. It was really heavily rooted in those beliefs. So there wasn't really a space for us to get in. And also there was issues with the gay community. So they formed a separate group to really come together and talk about how to manage that. They put out several different statements to challenge people's thinking on that as well.
Which is
So
always a good thing to do.
always a good thing. And Barbara Smith is one of the members, and I got a chance to just have a discussion with her through Moving for Black Lives, and it was just transformational. Just hearing from her and having the courage that they had in that time. It was totally different times, and we're talking about women who were sometimes assaulted, killed, murdered, just for speaking up and wanting to lead a kitchen and actually do things. So the fact that they had that courage in that time to
to be a woman speaking up in
Mhm.
some of these times, and a black woman, it was
Yes.
dangerous. There's a meme that says, being black is, I like being black. It's kind of dangerous, but it's lit. Kind of dangerous, but
Yeah.
sometimes not as dangerous as it was, but it could be
Mhm.
in
Mhm.
some
Surely.
settings, and it's not always easy to be able to find your voice. So it's
Yeah.
always great to be able to fall back, or to remember the people that you represent,
Mm.
even when we step out in these arenas and we want to lose control, or we want to, like, this is, lose control, start cussing, and this is crazy. We have to do it a certain way because people are watching us, and it does matter. The way that you interact and react to a lot that happens is important also. And it
Right.
reflects not just us, but it reflects our community. It reflects those who came before us. And I don't want to disappoint anyone.
And you won't. The fact that you're even doing it is you're not going to disappoint. You never lose when you try. You never lose when you actually are doing it. We firmly believe at Tag that people can say what they want to say, how they say it. Just say it for the love of God. There are so many horrible things going on, we have to say it. So to any black women, black girl who is afraid, even speak when your voice is shaking. Think of all this history that we have talked about here: the Crumbly River Collective, Barbara Smith, Angela Davis, Shirley Chisholm, and then the local women in your own life. If you live in the Mon Valley, live in Allegheny County, we've
Think
talked
about you.
about
Take
saying,
it back to your grandmother. I don't
yes,
think my grandmother made it very clear to me at a young age that I should be voting every election.
yep,
Every election. And from the time I turned 18, it was just something that it didn't matter to me then as
hmm
much as it does now. But thinking about where she came from, and, the struggles that she may have had to go through just to be able to vote, I will never take it for granted. I'm a black woman. So there
hmm
was points in history where I wasn't supposed to be voting at
yep,
all.
yes. I feel the same way about like Kennywood. Like my grand would tell me, "Oh, we was never allowed to go there. I was never allowed to swim there. We wasn't allowed to do any of these things." So I'm like, "Well, I'm gonna
Right.
go
And
there."
people act like these things happened so long ago, but you look at the dates. Some of this stuff was 60, 50 years ago. And it's just like, it's not that far off that this racism or that these systems would still be in place, and that they need to still be figured out, combated, or in a lot of situations dismantled altogether, because they are not doing what they need to be doing for the collective of everybody. And that's what it is. Everybody deserves a fair shot for, whatever it is you're trying to achieve. Anyone should be able to get the same, uh a lot of the same information, the same support, the same whatever. And I think that's where social justice comes in.
Yeah, that's where and the Black liberation piece. And there's a difference between the two, and we always say we're a Black liberation organization because that's important. Sometimes when you do social justice or multicultural shit, we get lost in that. Well, I would say most times we get lost in that. So we always like to make sure that we have Black spaces. So I just have two more questions for you, Amber, and I'll let you go. So the first one is, what advice would you give to a Black woman who may be, and this is a Black woman, girl, whoever, who may be scared to speak up? And then how have your first few weeks in office been going?
To anyone who is looking to find a voice or to find their place in society, I would say, first and foremost, pray, because there is nothing major that I have done in my life that I have not gone to God for, that He has not seen me through. And I know for younger people, it sounds like, oh yeah, of course she would say that, but give it a try. And I promise you, it makes all the difference when I pray, and have good people in your corner that you're able to talk to, because no dream is too big, or it can be too small. But if you have people that are telling you that your dreams are too big, obviously you might not be talking to the right people, because you can do anything if you really wanted to. And I guess my first few months in office have been informative. I'm not a political person, and so I have taken advantage of the local government academy, and I graduate the beginning of April. Um, So I think for me right now, it's just about the information and finding out what happens when and who does what where. So it's just like an information overload right now. I'm creating new relationships with my new coworkers, and I am learning the positions of the people who I serve now and what they expect from me. And so I'm just being given a lot of information that I'm trying to just take it all in and just navigate through it. So right now it's just the information overload, but I'm getting it, and I want to get it. And so I'm here to learn, and I'm here to serve, and I'm here to work. So that's what I'm doing.
So, and you sit on the library board, right?
We actually just had a board meeting today. It was my first board meeting.
Okay.
Yeah. And I'm a lifelong, I'm always at the library anyway. I grew up by the library. My mother has a daycare in the city of McKeesport, and I take the daycare kids there. The library is almost like a second home to me, and I make it a second home to all of my children. I always let them know it's a safe space. We know all the people by name. We go, we play with our friends, and so yeah, the library is a great place for resources and just to stay connected with what's going on.
Absolutely. Thank you for that. So Amber's our city council person. She has been appointed to the board to represent the city, the library board. The meetings are the first Wednesday of the month. Early first Wednesday of the month, 201 Loud Boulevard. There is um, a session. It starts at 7. They meet at 6:30 to do an agenda meeting. So that
No,
just
we met today at 4.
is it.
Those
Okay.
times and dates
I
have.
know I'm talking about the McKeesport City Council,
Okay.
not the library board. Yeah, so McKeesport City Council meets at 6:30 to talk about what they're going to vote. The meeting starts at 7. Arrive at like
Yes,
six
come
forty
out.
five.
Come out,
I'm
guys.
out. Sign up and speak if you want to speak. Just come at 6:45 and sign in. 201 Loud Boulevard, first Wednesday of the month, 7 o'clock. Show up to these council meetings.
Yeah, show up and show your praise or show your anger. Whatever it is, it's important, and make it important to us. It's important to me, and if you come and you speak on it, you'll make it important to those who are listening.
Exactly. Thank you. Thank you so much for coming on, Amber. So you can stay if you want. I'm just going to close out and talk about some political education pieces and then endometriosis awareness. So it's totally up to you if you want to
I'll
stay.
stay on, but I'll turn myself off.
Okay, okay.
Thanks for having me.
Coming. All right. So that was a great discussion about Women's History Month and Black Feminism Month. We chose to highlight Black women locally and beyond. That was really dope. So thank you to Councilwoman Webb for coming on. Just want to close out. It's also Endometriosis Awareness Month. I've been quite vocal about my struggle with endometriosis. It has been horrible. My mother always said, hate is a strong word, but I can say I hate endometriosis. I was officially diagnosed at 25 after I had my daughter, after my mother pushed me to advocate to get the test done. So I officially got diagnosed at 25. At that time, I was told that I'm 44 now. I was told that it was just a reproductive disease and that it wouldn't really go anywhere else. That was not true. And no one, I mean, when I tell you no one bothered to tell me that. So I'm just going through life and diverticulitis comes, I have stomach issues. 2021, I got a pain that literally never left me. So I had to do my own kind of research and healing myself and really sick. I mean, I was at the point where I was planning my funeral because I just thought whatever is killing me. I didn't know what it was. So it was through my own research and really through ancestral healing that led me to an endo doctor who said, yeah, your endo spread to your rectum, to your lungs, to your bladder, and I had to have hysterectomy in 2022, full hysterectomy. So that gave me some relief from the pain. Hysterectomy is not a cure for endo, neither is pregnancy. There is no cure for endometriosis. However, I made that decision to get it because of I had lost my quality of life. So I got the surgery, and the pain definitely went down, but I had complications because they nixed something, so I had to have the catheter in for about 2 weeks. Got that out. Few months after the surgery, I found that I have ovarian Reniment syndrome. So basically, I have stage 4 endometriosis, and it was so thick that they had to peel the layers back, and they left like a very small piece that my stomach doctor seen from a totally different test. So they did a test, and it had shrunk, and they're going to either wait for it to shrink or just take it out. So of course, I have to get another test in a few weeks done to make sure. And now the pain is coming back a little bit, and I have menopause. Of course, I have surgical menopause. So that is causing hot flashes that make me extremely dizzy a lot of times. Another fun piece is the memory loss that comes with menopause. Now, I didn't know any of these things. Even after the hysterectomy, they didn't say, "Hey, you're going to have surgical menopause, and this is how it's going to look." So no one clear tells me that. And this is something that's common with Black women because they think that we know everything. They also think that we don't feel pain or some shit like that. This is the weirdest thing I ever heard of. But there literally are studies of doctors talking and doing tests like, oh, Black women could take more pain. Not true at all. But they didn't tell me these things. So for a while, I thought, oh my goodness, it's like, am I losing it? I'm doing crossword puzzles. But no, it's a effective menopause. So that's kind of where I'm at now with endometriosis, dealing with the surgical menopause, the ovarian remnant syndrome, dealing with the pain that a lot of us feel, IBS, all of these things that come up. I started a blog about it. We'll put that in the chat as well. I haven't done it in a while. I'm going to do a video this month. Honestly, I've been traumatized, to be honest, even to talk about it again because the ovarian remnant syndrome came, and then now the stomach problems, and then the menopause. So it was like, so you have to have some kind of a base to manage that. So I can go into what helped me. Meditation has really helped. Really getting in touch with my ancestral healing has really helped. Changing my diet, like cutting out pork, cutting out alcohol or cutting down on alcohol. Beef has been a good piece as well, like greasy foods, all of that trigger my endometriosis. So changing my diet, the meditation, I've really gone on a radical self-care journey, where, I've decided to keep around me what serves me. It doesn't cause me a lot of stress. So I've, and people could probably tell you, the people that are around me, that I really have been on like this whole radical self-care piece. And you have to be that way, because the stress of endometriosis on your body and your mental health, it'll kill you. Literally, it'll kill you, if you don't do these proactive things. So those are just some of the things that help me. Endometriosis is a disease that affects a lot of women, just not in this country, everywhere across the world. And like anything, when this country gets a cold, we get the flu, we meaning Black people. So the effects on Black women in regards to the hysterectomies that probably could have been saved, from if somebody told us the information we needed to hear, not listening to us when we go to the doctor. There's not even a test. There's one test that can diagnose endometriosis, but there's no scan. There's like one or two scans that can actually see it. So there's not a lot of research done on it. There needs to be more awareness on the disease. It definitely has led, unfortunately, to some people's deaths. It is a horrible disease. It is scar tissue that affects you, and we all have endo cells in us. So even with the hysterectomy, like I still have it. It just doesn't attach and grow onto anything. So with your period is where it grows. It grows when you have your period. So that's why they say, oh, pregnancy will help. And they gave me birth control over the years. None of that. None of that actually helped. Changing my diet, radical self-care, meditation, ancestral healing is all the things that have helped for me. Also, CBD is a huge piece that helps. When it came to the pain and the discomfort, Tylenol did not work. Birth control worked for a brief time. CBD was the biggest thing that actually gave me some kind of relief. So if you're struggling with endometriosis, there's several sites. We'll put those in the chat as well. Endo Black is an amazing organization that focuses on how endometriosis affects Black women. There's Endo Found as well. There's several groups that are raising awareness. There's some legislation going on as well, and TAG is going to be pushing for a lot of that as well. So if you have a person in your life who is dealing with endometriosis, just be patient with them, ask them how you can help. Recommend meditation, recommend changing some of the things they eat. There's several different organizations out there raising awareness. There's a documentary called Below the Belt, which is another good resource that people can look up as well. But there's so many other like documentaries and movies out there. Make sure that you are paying attention. If there's a local group in your community raising awareness about endometriosis, make sure you support. Another thing that was helpful for me was just joining support groups on Facebook, looking on YouTube for what people were saying about endometriosis. All of that was extremely helpful. Honestly, that's the way I found out about a lot of medical treatments was through these support groups. It was just women talking to other women. It wasn't a doctor. Sometimes it was a nurse, a female nurse who would say, "Hey, go here and try this," because they were dealing with it. So a lot of times it's just talking to one another. So that's my spill on endometriosis awareness that is occurring this month. So if you know someone who is dealing with it, please support them. It'll make you extremely fatigued, tired, and in out of pain. You could be fine 1 at 6 and horrible pain at 7:30. It's a disease, it's chronic pain. So if you know someone, support them through that. And just want to close out with some political education as I typically do. So earlier I had talked about environmental justice and organizing. One of the things that we're seeing is the environmental space can be a very white space. And sometimes when Black organizations get involved, people just want to kind of attach themselves to that project. And I would challenge people to not do that. I would challenge people to, if you really want to know how to engage Black people or people of the global majority around any topic, ask us, reach out to a Black consultant, a Black organization that can train you on that so they can show you how to do it, show you how to best do it. But we are not guinea pigs. We are not objects. We are not like check marks on your grant. We're not any of that shit. We're people. We're real people with real issues. So treat us as if you would treat anybody else that you're going to help. Give us that respect to listen to us, to appreciate us, to pay us. Pay us like you pay white men. That is what we are demanding in this space. So if you're going to get into, and I'm talking about the environmental justice space, so that kind of organizing and engaging Black people, which you should be doing, reach out to us, listen to us, let us train you on how to do it, how to go into these communities and talk to people before you try to mobilize people and engage people, do all this and do that. You have to educate them because it's more important for them to understand why it's an issue than it is for you. So take the time out and engage people. And it's an ongoing thing. You can't rush it. You can't force it. You can't push it. You can't look at people as if they are like, oh, this is so exciting. And just, like, no, just go and talk to people on a real level. So I wanted to really bring that out there because I'm seeing that a lot in these spaces with people trying to either task themselves onto what other people are already doing and not really doing their due diligence and engaging with that community fully and really understanding. And I'm talking about the Black community. Also, I did start a column with the New Pittsburgh Courier, which is a historical Black magazine here in Pittsburgh, in the greater Pittsburgh area. But however, it is known nationally for the work that they did during the Civil Rights Movement and before that and beyond. So I'm writing an article, a monthly column on the importance of having Black liberation in Black spaces, as well as just in general with movement building. So I did my first piece in early February. We're doing another one this month as well. And there I just talked about, and I was specifically talking about Allegheny County and how some Black people have a need to have white proximity. When what I mean by that is just have white people around them, white people approving things. I talked about some examples where projects will start out really Black focused. A couple months later, you'll see it having a more multicultural focus or just white, and you won't see us anymore. So we kind of get pushed to the back burner. And I talk a little bit about why that happens in regards to wanting white proximity and just wanting white approval. Keeping white people comfortable is another way that we have internalized white supremacy. So we're always thinking like, oh, what would the white people think? What will they say? Like, who cares? I was like, who cares what they think? Cares what they say. We should really be focused on what's going to be do good for the greater good of our people. So that's what the column is about. Check it out. Is in the Courier now. It'll be in there again next month. But really wanted to just continue the conversation around political education. I really think it's important to educate people. TAG, we have done great work with organizing people and teaching people how to organize. And now we really want to get into the education piece. Like, why are we doing this? Like, why is this an issue? And really teaching them about liberation. We're going to get into the healing side of liberation as well. We've already been doing wellness sessions. We'll be doing more of those with yoga and sound baths and looking at other forms of healing. So that's what TAG has in the works. That's one of the reasons why I did the column with the Courier. So that is all. Nothing really else to add, but just wanted to end with that political education. Thanks to everyone that joined us, everyone that's going to watch this in the future. Thanks you again to TAG founding chapter member and McKeesport Councilwoman Amber Webb. So it is 6:56, and I'm giving you all 4 minutes of your life. So thanks for joining us, and then we will see you all next month. Peace. Stop live. Stop.